This is Charles with Yukon Learning, and got a question on how to take a policy. We have a policy right here. You can see it. Reads like most corporate policies. And we want to have our learners read this and acknowledge that in fact, that they've read it. Some people will even ask, hey, I want to force my learners to read this. Okay, you can't force them. But what we can do is we can actually have them scroll down. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a button. So I go here to button. I'm going to use a checkbox. And I'm just going to draw this checkbox over here. And then I'm going to type in this checkbox, I agree. Okay, and then I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, just like so. And because I want them to read the policy first before they click off I agree, I'm not going to put it outside of this. I'm actually going to put it inside the checkbox. Now, of course, doing this, you're going to want to make sure that you give your learners some instructions so that they know, in fact, that they're supposed to scroll to the bottom and that they'll find their agree button at the bottom there. Closer, so I'm just scrolling. I dragged it into the panel and I'm using my arrow keys to move it down. This is quite a long policy. All the way to the bottom, and then there I go. You can also put images or other things in the scrolling panel, so not a big deal. So this, like I said, this is just this is a text box inside of a scrolling panel, and I'm just moving, scrolling along here, and then there's my agree button. The learners would check it to move along. Now, how do we restrict them from actually going to the next slide without this being checked? I'm going to do the simplest way I know how. You can use variables, but I'm just going to come into my next slide trigger, and I'm going to edit it, and I am going to put a condition on this. And my condition will simply be that I want to test for the shape, and my shape is my I agree button, and I want to make sure it is equal to selected. So basically this is saying that this button will work. It'll jump to the next slide when the user clicks the next button, only if the I agree button is equal to selected. Now, of course, you have to consider other things. Whether they hit the back button, do you disallow the back button or previous button? How about the menu? No, you can't turn that off. You would need to work around that in other ways. Also, what if they hit the next button and nothing happens and they think it's broken? They didn't read the instructions. You may also want to put in like an error message so that they, saying, hey, you have to first click the I agree button. That can be found at the bottom of the scrolling panel, that sort of thing. I hope that's helpful. Let me know what questions you have.